What's up, what's up, what's up? This is HC Express back at you with another pro tip for this week. Today, we're going to be talking about scamming. Yes, it's going down in the trucking industry right now. We have a lot of scamming, okay? How to spot a scam load, and also what are brokers doing about it? What are the extra steps that they're making you as truck drivers and dispatchers jumping through hoops to book these loads, all right? Let's go. All right, so first and foremost, scamming. It is going down right now. They are scamming, all right? And what I want to tell my dispatchers and my truckers out there is how to spot a scam load. All right, if you didn't have training or if you have training, something that they should have taught you or what you probably should have researched is when you're going to book a load, you have to do a credit check on the broker. That's right, you got to do a credit check on the broker. If you're on DAT, that board, what you would see is that they have a check by brokers that are verified, meaning that a lot of people have been paid by this broker, that this broker is pretty much surefire to pay you your money. But what you also would see is a lot of brokers that don't have a check by their name. And I'm not going to hate on these brokers because it's some up and coming brokers that don't have the verification check, so to speak, that they're trying to get there. But you also have a lot of different brokers that are double brokering or that are scamming out there, and you want to pretty much watch for that. What I would say, book with the brokers that have the check by their name, or go to your factoring company that you work with and they have a different portal with your factoring company. They should have OTR, Triumph, RTS, whoever you with. They have a different portal that you can pretty much type in the broker's name or their MC, and you can check to see, hey, if this person is going to pay me or my factoring company work with them. That's a number one way that you can make sure that your truck driver or that the person that you're working with gets paid, all right? Let's go. So let's talk about how brokers are handling the situation of scamming. Brokers are really going through hell right now with the double brokering and the scamming out here. So they're making us go through extra hoops, truck drivers and dispatchers, to verify you are who you say you are. One way I see that they're doing is when I'm filling out a carrier packet, they're making us jump through an extra loop of asking what is the carrier ID and also the zip code. Now, if you don't have the carrier ID, don't be afraid. It has a prompt down below that will tell you, hey, if you don't know it, we can email it to you. And it would email to the email that's on file that that driver, that carrier put when they first set up the company. Also, the same thing for the zip code. So it's going to ask you for the carrier ID and the zip code. That's one loop that they're asking you to jump through just to make sure that, hey, you are who you say you are. You know, the second thing that they're doing, they're calling the carrier. If you're a dispatcher, they're going to call you and double check, hey, is 123 dispatching, just to make sure that this person can dispatch you. Trust me, because there's so many people out there that are getting the information. You truckers got to understand, a lot of y'all information is on the side of y'all truck. It's easy to be found. And what I'm hearing from the brokers is, so a lot of people are getting your information, calling up, having a bootleg factoring company or some other type of way, and they're getting paid off your MC. And that can mess up your MC. So these brokers have to make sure that you are who you say you are, okay? So they're also calling. They're also verifying through emails. So that's another thing that you want to make sure that you have that conversation with your drivers. Like, hey, man, they're going to be verifying through email. They're going to be verifying through phone call. Make sure that you're ready to answer the call. That's something that I do. I call once I book a load. I just had this happen with Molo, and they say, hey, man, nothing against you. We got to call this carrier. So pretty much, I was like, it's cool. Just let me call her because she's in California. The owner of the company was in California, 3 hours behind me. And I just had to call her and wake her up and just let her know. One thing I would say, I warned her previous. I warned her ahead of time, like, hey, they're going to be doing this. So it may be, you know, some carriers that we never worked with that may have to call you. I may have to wake you up here and there. I may have to interrupt you. And she said it was cool. So called her, let her know she was aware of it. Pretty much they called her. Everything was cool. So that's something that you want to warn your carriers that you work with, or if you're a truck driver, that hey, they gotta verify. You know, you might be calling from a different cell phone. You know, you might be calling from your cell phone. They might have to call that number that you first put down when you first set up your company. They gotta call that number, whatever number that is. And I know a lot of drivers out there. I have one driver. They just gave them a Google Voice number that they just turned off. You know, I had to tell her, hey, go turn it back on. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason she did that, because when you start your company, you know, a lot of us dispatchers calling you, a lot of people just calling, just try to, you know, get business. And she didn't want that, so she just turned it off, and now she uses her regular cell phone. But every now and then, they gotta call that number, right? So this is some game that you gotta be aware of. Trust me when I tell you, you gotta warn your drivers and your carriers. You don't want to warn them at the last minute because they may be a doctor. You never know. Just tell them, like, every now and then I gotta text you. I might have to call you. So just be aware, because you're gonna hold up your money, and it's not my fault. It's gonna be your fault if I can't get this load. Also, something that I just saw today, and I'm shooting this video on a Sunday. I saw that MoLo again, because I booked 2 loads with MoLo. One, they had to call and verify the one carrier, and the carrier pretty much that they were already registered with MoLo, they had to verify the VIN number. And I was like, that's wild and that's strange. But he said, hey man, we need to get the VIN number to make sure you are who you say you are. So it's a lot of things that brokers are doing. So that's why you gotta have all this information. You know, when you first set up with the carrier, you gotta have all their information. You ain't gotta have their social security number, but you definitely gotta have certain stuff. So when this stuff arises, you're not scrambling and you gotta call the carrier every 5 seconds. You know, we may have to call the carrier just to verify, but certain stuff like a VIN number, you know, if they ask for, hey, what's the driver's last name? Some of the dispatchers don't know the driver's last name. They just know their first name. It's certain stuff that we gotta know, okay? This is A to C Express, dropping some knowledge for you guys again. I hope y'all like it. Comment, subscribe.